Hello. Yeah, Ravi, basically you have already finance background or you're very new to SAP. Hello. Ravi, I will unmute you. You can talk to me. So just a second. Yeah. Yeah, Ravi, please go ahead now. Hello. Ravi, you you have already finance background or you're new to SAP? Ravi, are you able to hear me or you have any issues in audio or if you have any issues in audio, so can you just shout on the chat box so that
Yeah. Hello.
yeah, Ravi, please go ahead now. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'm able to hear now.
Yeah. Yeah, please go ahead, Ravi. Yeah.
Anything you want from me?
Just I'm asking, you have background of finance or you are new to
Uh,
SAP?
yeah, I'm mostly into SAP, BW, and so I'm trying to upgrade into BPC, business planning and consolidation.
Oh, okay,
So
got it. Yeah.
I'm okay with SAP, BW, BPC.
BPC, okay. But this is a
So this,
controlling session, basically. It's a
yeah,
CO
because
controlling
in
product.
BPC
Yeah,
we have all the controlling things, right? So
correct.
functionally also I'm trying to plan that
Correct.
I.
This
Because
will be definitely add a lot of value for your. I mean, I mean. Anyway, this will be definitely add the value for your profile. Yeah.
yeah, because material planning, cost center
Correct.
planning, and so we want to
Correct.
update little better. So that is what I'm
Got it.
planning up.
Yeah, fine.
And
So basically, we have some other people also yet to join. So probably, I think there is a group. Basically, those guys are not able to join today because of they have some personal this thing. So we will continue tomorrow, probably, and I mean there are other guys also there. So
not
we
a problem.
will directly start the session tomorrow. So it's
Okay.
just general tomorrow. Just we will go through all the concepts relevant for the controlling, and the
Mm-hmm.
next session basically we will start the actual session.
Okay. So how many sessions you are planning for the controlling?
It's around 30 hours, 30 to 35 hours. Yeah.
30, 35. Huh? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Fine then, not a problem. So tomorrow you're planning, no?
Yeah, tomorrow I'm planning. So anyway, so and today, just we will wait for another 5 minutes in case if somebody, I mean, join, then I will take up. Then otherwise, all together at a time tomorrow we will go ahead.
Okay. No problem. Yeah. Okay.
Be on the line for 5 minutes, then I will confirm. Okay. Hi, Majid.
Yeah, hello, boss.
Hi. Yeah. So you're also new for SAP, or you already have a background for finance things, or you're already
Yeah,
working on
I
SAP?
have background in FICO, but is this going to be in-depth CO?
Yes, this is especially exclusively taking for controlling
Okay,
CO. Okay,
okay.
so all the ECC things we will see, and also the project specific scenarios also we will see here. And I will take you all these the concept which are going to be covered. So there are some other people also yet to join. So just I'm waiting for them.
Mm-hmm.
And anyway, this is completely the exclusive CO controlling batch. Okay, here basically we are. We have several, different batches here. So, but this batch is basically going to be taken care on only the controlling specific things here. Okay, it's around 30 to 35 hours sessions basically. So majorly we will discuss on all the ECC side, all the costing submodules, and also we will see the new things on S4 HANA. So the changes on S4 HANA perspective, all the on the controlling perspective as well.
Okay, for COPA, are you doing account based or costing based?
Both. So first of all, we will see from the ECC and whatever available. In the ECC, basically the majorly, if you see the 100 clients, so today, so almost 99% of the clients, basically they have implemented the costing based COPA. But now on S4 HANA, so basically it has enhanced a lot. So that basically people are preferring now. So that's what SAP also recommending. So with the enhanced solution. So we will see both the solutions. So basically we will see the from the ECC side how it used to be work, and also how it is going to be, how it is working on S4. So now this accounting based COPA solution, which is a recommendable solution from the SAP. So how it is enhanced, those both the things we will see from the COPA perspective. And the product costing, so I'll take you through anyway. So all the things, so the subject's point of view, the product costing also it's a vast kind of thing. So basically we will see all the we have different scenarios in the product costing. So we will see the discrete manufacturing scenarios and repetitive manufacturing scenarios, and MTs and MTO, and in MTO we have different kind of based on the the industry. So the scenarios might be changed. So we will see all those things in the product costing as well, and the internal accounting and the cost center accounting. So and the profit center accounting. So all in-depth kind of thing we will see from the ECC as well as on S4. So the changes on S4, both things. It's a kind of complete package for ECC plus S4 things for controlling module.
Okay. So
This
when
is
you
more
say
than,
ECC, go ahead,
yeah.
sorry.
Yeah, please go ahead, Vijay.
So when you say ECC, you would be the profit center. It's a new profit center accounting, right? With new GL
Yes.
as a
Yes.
segment.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. And complete planning, you said, right? Cost center planning as well.
Yes. The planning things also, changing now on S4. So first of all, we will see whatever the planning functionalities available on ECC site. Then that depends, right? So you may also get the different projects in your, company. So you maybe get ECC environment, or you may get S4 environment. So that's the reason I am including both these things. So ECC as well as S4. So the planning perspective, however, it is evolved on ECC, evolved on S4. So those things also I'm going to be covered.
Okay.
Yeah. So just I'm waiting for other people. So in case they will not join today, so then we will continue tomorrow. So just we will wait for 5 minutes, and then I'll get a confirmation. There are, if they will not join, so then we will continue tomorrow. So anyway, tomorrow is I will take directly the tomorrow. Just I will explain you the concepts, whatever we are going to be covered in each and every sub modules. Then next day basically we will continue the real-time topics. So everything basically it's a system. Everything we will try to create our own company code, controlling area, operating concern, everything we will try to simulate in the system. Okay, it's a hands-on training, so we don't need any PPTs and all basically. So all the project specific scenarios. So whatever I gain in my different experiences in this, for example, let's say FMCG, or it's in the it's a pharma industry, or it's a automobile industry, or retail, or in the service industry. So however, so all those kind of, because costing will be different from industry to industry, and also from project to project, you will have the project specific scenarios. It is not standard kind of thing. So I have covered the maximum things from the all these industries basically. So from the, especially from the engineering industry and the FMCG, as well as from the pharma. So all these things are going to be covered. So all the project specific scenarios also I'm going to be adding in the content. Okay. So anyway, I will take you through those the specific things which I'm going to be covered in the tomorrow session. So just I will confirm you in the 5 minutes whether we, in case they all together will join. So basically we will continue now itself, and tomorrow we will start the actual session. If not, tomorrow I will take all these concepts which are going to be covered, and the next day again we will continue with the actual session. Yeah. Anyway, so basically, I mean, those guys are, I mean, joining tomorrow onwards. So no problem. So basically, whenever this session will be recorded, we will forward this recording to them. So we will see the topics today. So basically, whatever the topics we are going to be covered under the controlling and on ECC as well as S4HANA things. Okay. So we have the different chapters here. So the chapter one, we first will discuss on the enterprise structure from the controlling perspective. So basically we have financial accounting as well as the controlling things, right? The financial accounting where it is responsible for external reporting, and whereas basically it is controlling model which is a management accounting, so which will be will use for internal reporting kind of purpose. Okay. So for the controlling, basically just this module can be helpful for the management to take the decision in efficient manner. So basically how this will be helpful and all those things we will discuss in future anyway. So I mean the profit point of view, for example, let's say any organization, so if I am making a product, so when I'm making a product, my end objective will be basically to make a profit, right? So I can achieve the things, basically the end objective here in the two ways. So one way, basically I can increase I mean I can increase the cost for the, I can increase the profitability margin, and also I can that's the one way. So basically where I can increase the price of my product and I can sell it for the higher price. I can also make the profit in, that's the one way. So but another way, basically I can also reduce my the manufacturing cost of the product, right? So for example, I may incur the cost at the various levels in the, during my manufacturing of my product. So I can control I can also make the profit, so by reducing this cost, right? So in other way, this controlling module will be helpful for the management to take a decision in efficient manner to reduce to control the cost at each and every level. So that's how this controlling module will be helpful for the management. So it's a purely internal management accounting purpose. We will use a controlling module. So here we will see the we have the different chapters here. So from the concepts point of view. So first of all, we in the finance, basically we have organization structure like company code and all those stuff, right? So in the controlling module also, basically we will have the organization structure like it's operating concern and controlling area. So operating concern is the highest organization element in the controlling module. Under this, basically we will have the controlling area, and under that basically we can assign the company codes where we wanted to generate the reports for the controlling modules. So in this way, basically we'll have the organization structure here and the number ranges and the versions. So versions, basically the planning, basically to save the data, so of your planning information as well as the actual postings, actuals and the planning information. So end of the day, basically first of all you will do the budgeting, right? So you will do the cost planning, and then basically you will you can incur the actual cost, and then you will do the comparison between the actual and planning and difference between the plan and actual. So the variances, basically you will monitor those things. So you will try to always reduce the variances between whatever you plan, and in case if it is going beyond the planning things. So it is when you are see the more cost incurring at the at any objective level, that means any cost objective level, basically you can you'll try to always reduce the cost. So that is those are all the things basically you'll do. So basically these planning versions, these versions will be helpful for to save the data of the planning as well as the actual version, actual data. So here we have the different things here. So basically the 0 version, and which will generally will use for plan and actual to save the data of plan and actual data. But addition to that, we have other versions also, 1, 2 and all. So those things we will discuss in detail during our practical sessions anyway. So just I am giving the glance here. So what is the version and all. And we have the cost element accounting. Okay, so cost elements are nothing but your P&L accounts, okay, which will be flowed from your finance to controlling module. So here we have the two things. So basically primary cost elements as well as secondary cost elements. So on the ECC side, now in S4 so things are changing, but from the ECC perspective, we used to have the primary cost elements which used to be flowed from the finance to controlling module, and also we used to different categories of the cost elements in the primary as well as in the secondary. The secondary cost elements, basically which we used to create within the controlling module. Okay, so that won't be have the GL account in the finance. So those kind of things basically we used to create under the controlling module. Within the controlling module, we used to create the secondary cost elements. So which won't be flowed from FI to CO kind of thing. So which will be flowed from FI to CO, basically we will categorize them as a primary cost elements. So we will see what kind of primary cost elements categories available, what kind of secondary cost elements categories available, and when to use what. So all those things we'll discuss in detail in the cost element accounting. And also we have various other controls, like for example record quantities, and also default account assignments. So these kind of things basically in the business point of view, so when to use, where to use, and all those things, all the controls point of view we'll discuss little in detail. And we will see these things in the cost element accounting, in the cost center accounting. So cost centers are nothing but basically wherever you are incurring the costs. Okay, so you can create it as a cost center. So let's say from the organization point of view, you may incur the cost at the various department level. You can also create your cost centers wherever you wanted to monitor, where you wanted to control the cost. For example, department wise, or the location wise, or the product wise, or responsibility, budget responsibility area wise. So in this way, basically we can for the way different ways we can create the cost centers. So wherever you wanted to control the cost, so at that level we will create the cost centers. Depends on the business requirements, we will take up those inputs and we will create those cost centers. Let's say, for example, department wise. So we may have the several departments in the organization, right? So we have finance, admin, or a marketing department. Like that, we have several departments. In that way, we can also create the cost centers. In also we have the cost center groups. So for example, at the high level, as a corporate level, or we may have the manufacturing things. So we can group them. Okay, so at the corporate level, one group, and at the manufacturing level, one group, and at the service level, one group. And out of the location wise, if you want to prove some of the cost centers in that way. So it is not kind of standard, but it is depends on the business requirement, business, how business wanted to monitor this. These things basically depends on that. Basically, we will create the cost centers and cost center groups. So it depends on the business reporting requirements. We will create the groups, and as well as under that we will create the cost centers. And to create this structure, basically we will use the standard hierarchy. So those things we will anyway we will discuss in future. We will go a little deeper into these topics. And we have other things like basically cost center groups, and we have activity types. So basically activity types generally we will use to. So for example, let's say I'm a manufacturing company. So I'm manufacturing, for example, let's say I'm into consumer goods industry. So let's say I'm manufacturing some chips or whatever. Okay. So when I'm manufacturing these chips, so I need the potatoes, right? So as a raw material. So I will buy this potato from the customer, my vendor. And then I will, for example, my vendor is maybe the farmer. Then I will convert this raw material to the finished product as a chip packet, that potato chips packet. So this conversion from the raw material to the final finished product, this conversion process in between will perform the various activities. Okay. So for example, we need the labor there, we need the machines there. So that's the mission activity, or the labor activity, or the cleaning activity, or we may also use the heating. So in that way, so we can perform the various activities. So those we will call it as those activities. So we will how to create these activities, activity types, and how we will use these activities types in the costing reporting point of view, and all those things we will see. It's too early to discuss on these things, so we need we will go a little deeper into these topics when we go to the actual sessions. And also we will see the activity types and we have the planning part. Okay, so we also have the statistical key figures. So for example, you may have the several departments. So when, for example, you have finance department, marketing department, and admin department, also you have a canteen. So for example, three other departments like finance, marketing, and admin, so maybe use the service of other departments. As for example, there is a canteen. So this can be consumed by all these three department people. Okay. So end of the day, if I wanted to see the accurate expenses occurring at my department level, so I have to allocate this cost accordingly. So for example, let's say this consumption of this, for example, all these three departments people are utilizing my canteen. So I have to allocate this cost accordingly to all these department, right? So I have to have some base to allocate the cost to all these departments. So that base, okay. So for example, number of employees who are coming and from the, for example, in the finance we have 13 people, and in the admin department we have 20 people, and the marketing department we have 20 people. So the base is, I mean, we need to take a base here. The number is, the base is basically the people, the number of employees. So that we will take it as a base. So that we will calling it as a statistical key figure in, I mean, in the controlling terminology. Okay. So by using that as a base, statistical key figure, so we can allocate the costs. So we will see those things, how to set up and how, what kind of business I mean, scenarios we'll have from the statistical key figures point of view. So we have we will see how to create these things and all. And another important important thing is basically the planning part. Okay. So the cost center planning. So we have the cost center planning. So we have, in the cost center planning, basically we have I mean, we have input planning and output planning. So input planning means nothing but it is a, for example, I created my cost center as all, for example, let's say I went with a level of all the department level, I created my cost centers. So I have to do the planning for all the expenses, right? So that we will call it as the expenses planning, we will call it as input planning. Okay. At the same time, so the output planning also needed. So output planning is nothing but your activity planning. Okay. So we will see these things when, I mean, in during our practical session. So we have input planning as well as output planning, how to do the input planning and output planning. And also we have the activity dependent planning, activity independent planning. Okay. So activity dependent planning, basically activity dependent planning is basically when we will define the relation between the expenses as well as I mean, between the cost center. So whatever the expenses we are incurring at which cost center level, so those things. Yeah, hi Nandu. Yeah, so those things we will discuss here. So, and also in the independent planning, basically here we will not know basically which activity, which expenses we are consuming for which activities. So there basically we will define the relation. So for that we need the activity price, I mean, splitting things is, I mean, we will use the splitting, cost center splitting. And then also we will I mean, activity price calculation, we'll do the activity price calculation here. Okay. And also the we have other things, the allocation methods. Okay. So allocation is nothing but basically here allocating the cost from one cost objective to another cost objective. Cost objective is nothing but it may be your cost center, or it may be your it may be your cost center, or it may be your it may be your production order, or it may be your process order, it may be your WBSC element. So like this, basically we'll have the different cost objectives here. So to allocate the cost from one cost objective to another cost objective, so when we'll use is allocation methods. Okay, so we have different allocation methods here available in SAP. So the majorly used is distribution as well as assessment. Okay. So in the distribution, we have the different advantages and disadvantages. It's too early to discuss on all those things, and also the assessment also, basically we have a few advantages and disadvantages. So those things we will discuss in detail during our the cost center accounting topic. Okay. So also we will see other topics. And the internal order accounting. So internal order accounting is basically, it's a, so the cost center and internal order. So the difference between the cost center and internal order accounting is the cost centers are the long-term cost objectives, basically, which will be used for a longer period of time. And also in the at the cost center level, basically we will not have the budget controls and all those things are not possible there. Availability control and all those things are not possible there. But where we have the internal order level, it's a short-term cost objective. So for example, let's say you have the promotional expenses or the marketing when you are launching the product. So basically you will go for the promotions. So which will be conducted for only for 1 month or 2 months, or maybe it might be, and also some other things like, for example, the AUC, the asset under construction. So we have the different kind of order types here. Okay, in the internal order, basically we have marketing orders. We have, we may have the marketing orders. We may have AC orders. We may have different other. Depends on the business requirement basically. So where this will be only the short living object kind of thing here. Basically, where we'll use it for the AUC, we use for the marketing expenses and the promotional expenses and all those stuff we will use here. For the advertisements and all those stuff we will do. So this is here we will discuss on the various order types available and the model order concepts, and also the statistical orders, which will be only we'll use for the information purpose here, and the internal order planning. So as we discussed in the cost center planning, so we will also have the internal order planning as well. Okay, all the budget planning and all those stuff we will do at internal order level, and for the budget planning and all, basically we need the budget profile as well as a planning profile. And we will have the two things here, is a planning profile and budget profile. So for all the budgetary controls and all, basically we will use a budget profile and as well as a planning profile. So all the planning relevant things basically we will control with the planning profile and all. And also we have the source structure and the allocation structure. The source structure is basically whatever the source basically, which for example, let's say the expenses, the source of the expenses, basically those things we will create in the source structure. So and the allocation structure basically, for example, you are allocating the cost from one cost object to another cost objective. So whatever the base for the allocation, so those things we will control at the allocation structure level. And all these things we will see during our practical things, how we will allocation structure will be useful, how the source structure will define, and what kind of things will control there, and what is the usage of source structure and allocation structure and all these things, and the budget profile, planning profile and all. And the PA transfer structure basically, so generally the allocation structure basically will use it for to allocate the cost from one cost objective to another cost objective. But the PS transfer structure basically we will use from to allocate the cost from cost, for example, from all the cost objectives to the profitability analysis. So we'll use the PS transfer structure here. And the settlement profile, so basically once you capture the cost at the end of the month, basically you'll do the month-end process. At that point of time you'll do the settle this cost. So depends on the business scenario. For example, the AUC. In the AUC, basically once you completed the asset, final asset. So this AUC asset you will be settled to the final asset kind of thing. So in that way, so the settlement profiles, so where it will be control the receivers and senders and all those stuff. So which these things we also will discuss here in the internal order accounting. So we'll see all the month-end process and all in each and every module level. And the profit center accounting. So basically this will be useful for basically under the company code. So where you wanted to generate the balance sheet and the P&L and balance sheet account. So where for the internal reporting purpose. So that in that way we will create the profit center account, profit centers, and it will be useful for all the to generate the balance sheet at the lower level to the company code. And if you wanted to see the return on the investments, so you can, this will be useful. And also the controlling, here we will see all the controlling settings and the dummy profit center concept, and also actual data hosting for the profit centers and the profit center creation and all those stuff, and assignment to the revenue elements. And we will see the creation of the cost objectives here, and the planning profit and loss items, and planning the balance sheet items and all those stuff you'll see, and also the transfer pricing things. So during the transfer pricing things, I will explain you these things also from the profit center accounting point of view. and we will see other things. Let me, yeah. So moving on, the product costing. So which is the very one of the very important and the complicated submodule of controlling here. So we have so many things in the product costing. So first of all, it can be divided into the two parts. So one is product cost planning. So where we will do the setup here, all the configurational setup we will do here, which will be talks about all the standard cost estimation. So here we have the different elements in the product cost planning. So the costing sheet. So costing sheet basically for the indirect overheads. So how we wanted to allocate, absorb to the product, or how we wanted to allocate in the how we wanted to include in the cost estimation. So those things we can see here in the costing sheet concept. And the cost component structure, basically it's a breakup for your breakup of your breakup for your cost. Basically, for example, let's say I'm manufacturing a product, okay, where I can see the breakup of my cost of goods manufactured here. So let's say I have raw material cost and the conversion cost, or I may have the overhead cost. So all these things basically we can include in the cost component structure. So we'll have different controls in the cost component structure level. So it will says the basically the breakup of the cost, and also we wanted to do the roll up of the cost. So from lower level to higher level, or we can also group the different components here. Okay, and also we can for the which cost we wanted to include for consider for the inventory valuation. So which cost we don't want to include in inventory valuation. All those things basically we can do at the cost component structure level. So and the costing variant. So this is a very important thing in the product costing. So all the mechanism of your standard cost calculation will be depends on the costing variant, which will have the different controls here. Basically the costing type and the valuation variant and the quantity structure control, rate control, transfer control, all these things. It's too early to discuss on all these technical things at this point of time. So I will take you through all those things during our practical sessions. And another important the part is the cost objective control. Basically here we can see the product cost. I mean, we have the majorly we can see the different scenarios here. So you may if you go to the client may have the environment for the discrete or the repetitive manufacturing environment. So what is the discrete manufacturing? What is the repetitive manufacturing? So that we will discuss in detail anyway. And we may have the process industries, or we may have the engineering industry, we may have or electronic goods or whatever. So basically consumer goods or whatever. So basically based on the business environment, so here the scenarios will be changed. So the MTS and MTO, so make to stock, so basically, and make to order. The make to stock basically based on the demand plan. So we will produce the product and we'll keep in the normal stock, and whoever comes basically we will sell that from that particular stock without restricting to the particular customer. So whereas in we have the MTO scenario, basically where based on the customer requirement. So once we get the order from the specific customization with the customer, so then we will create the order. So basically we with reference to the sales order, again this process will be triggered on the backend. So and your it will be trigger your production order again. Again from the production order process will be done, and then again it will be comes to your sales order. At the sales order level, you will do the all the RE analysis and all those stuff. So that depends here. It's not strict. Maybe you may have the different scenarios available at MTS and MTO level. Yeah, sure, Nandu. Yeah, Nandu, please go ahead.
Yeah. No, just wanted to unmute you. I don't have question now, but what is ATO at high level?
So in the sales order costing, basically we have we may have the different scenarios here. So for example, when you go to the engineering industry, so you may have the assemble scenario, assemble to order.
Yeah.
You may have the engineering to order, or like this we have the different scenarios. Okay. Yeah. So in the majorly dividing this, basically we have the process point of view. We may have the discrete or repetitive manufacturing, and we may use a different kind of cost objectives here. So we sometimes based on the scenario, basically we will use sometimes the production order and sometimes process order, sometimes sales order. In the sales order also, basically sometimes we will have the validated stock scenarios, non-validated stock scenarios, and in case very complicated scenarios like engineering order or kind of thing, basically we will use a project to order scenarios. So where we will use a PS module here. So anyway, we will discuss on all those things in future. Okay. So we will see the discrete manufacturing processes and in repetitive manufacturing processes, and MTO and MTES scenarios. And in MTO again depends on the industry. Again, the scenarios will be changed. So whatever I covered in my experiences is like ATO or ETO or whatever. So all those things I will explain you during the practical things. And in the sales order again, we may have other scenarios like validated stock, non-validated stock, and all those things also we'll discuss in detail. And another important thing is actual costing and the metal ledger. So in the metal ledger, basically we'll have the functionalities like the multiple currencies and the multiple valuations, and also some of the countries, basically for example Russia. So there is a legal requirement for them to see their to report their inventories in the actual costing. So in that way, basically we will use a metal ledger. So the majorly the purpose is we will have the either for the multiple valuation or multiple currencies, or the actual costing. So anyway, I will take you through all those scenarios in the metal ledger concept. Sure. And the period end functionalities, the month end functionalities also we will go through from all the modules perspective. So especially from the product costing point of view, we'll have the working process calculation, the variance calculation, then the settlements and result analysis things. Basically, we will do at the month-end process level, and we have the month-end process at cost center level as well as from the top to bottom, bottom to top. Basically, I will take you through all the month-end process kind of thing, month-end process what we'll do exactly, because this is very important functionality in the controlling module. So what we will do exactly at the month-end process point of view on the product costing as well as from the other modules perspective, we will see. And in the COPA, so the COPA basically from the
What is variance key?
Yeah, variance key is the technical term. I can say it's a key, so which will have the controlling parameters to calculate the variances.
Okay.
Okay. So variance is nothing but, for example, you are planning at the initial level, right? So and then during the month, basically whatever the actual expenses incurred, the differences between the planning and the initial standard cost estimation, whatever you basically the difference between those two, that we will call it as a variance. Okay. And we have the different kind of variance categories there. Okay. We have the input
plan versus actual.
Yeah, plan versus actual. But we have the different variance categories there. The input, input side and as well as output side. So input price variances, input quantity variances, resource usage variances, remaining variances, and output side basically the lot size. Lot size variances and output price variances, output quantity variances. Like that, we have the various categories there. So when to use what and what exactly we can analyze there. So those things we will discuss in detail there with the and the COPA. So COPA and before S4. So basically we used to if you see the 100 clients, basically the 90%, 99% of the clients basically they went with costing based COPA because of the limitations at accounting based COPA level. Okay, so those things are recovered on S4 now. Most of the people are now the situation is, so we are activating for 100% for all the clients on S4 for accounting-based Coupa solution, because we have enhanced it with so many functionalities on accounting-based Coupa. So those things anyway we will see on S4. Before S4, basically how this costing-based Coupa used to work on ECC side. So we will go through all those things, and also the accounting-based Coupa perspective, how we used to have the limitations on the ECC side. So we will see that first, and also we will see on S4 so how those things record. Okay. So in the Coupa, basically we will see all these concepts: operating concern definition, and the characteristics and value field definitions, and also the characteristic hierarchy of the derivation rules, and the maintenance of the assignments of the value fields, and the Coupa value and the valuation strategy. So valuation strategy generally we used to use earlier basically to the two things. Basically some of the expenses, basically the freight and all, where you wanted to see only in the Coupa modules, that point of time we'll use a valuation strategy. Also the standard cost, basically, so which you wanted to pull to the Coupa reports. So that point of time also we used to use a valuation strategy. And the Coupa planning, so within the controlling Coupa module, basically we have the KEPM planning. KEPM is a transaction code, basically, where we'll use for the Coupa planning. So we will see the Coupa planning, how we used to do this Coupa planning, and also we will see the transfer of billing document to Coupa, and automatic account assignment, and the maintain the peer transfer structure to direct FI postings, and Coupa assessment, and the report painter. So we used to have basically on the ECC side the two way of reporting. The reports are basically key-based reports and the form-based reports. So key-based report, basically key figure-based report, basically we used to use the formulas there, and the form-based reports we used to create the form. So just based on the form, basically we used to generate the reports kind of thing. So both the options we will see on the ECC side. But now on S4, so how the things are moving, changing now. So those things also we'll discuss here. And these things basically from the BPC perspective or the BW perspective, also we'll discuss in detail here. Okay, and before and after. Before means ECC, and after means S4. So both the sides. So how these analytics things are going to be changed. So how we are working on S4 now. So compared with ECC side, so we will discuss both the sides, and all the changes also we will see on S4 from the analytics perspective. Okay, and the reconciliation part. So one of the important thing, basically the reconciliation things, which how we used to it used to be happen on ECC side, and how we are the reconciliation part is enhanced on with a new solution on S4. So those are the things we will see, and the top-down distributions and Coupa realignment things and all those things also we'll discuss in detail there. Okay, and the integration topics here. So from the controlling perspective, so we will see all these integration topics. So integration, controlling module, integration with MM, that means material management, and integration with sales and distribution, and integration with the finance module, integration with the production planning module, integration with the project system module, integration with the plant and maintenance module. So all these scenarios we will see, and because we need different scenarios needs a different integration here. So for example, in some of the projects you won't use a PS module. Okay, so for example where you don't, for example AUC scenario, so where you wanted to go very detailed information kind of thing, so then we will go for the PS. Okay, so not only for, so we have the different things here, so the operational operational expenses or capital expenditure. For the capital expenditure and operational operational expenses, basic operational expenditure. So both the things we will use here. Either sometimes we'll use an IO, sometimes we will use a PS. So when to use what? This is one side. So this is a simple scenarios I'm talking about. And wherever you have, for example, in engineering industry, so you'll use a PS module there also. Okay, so where you will go very deeper into the PS things there. So I'll add a couple of scenarios from the capital expenditure point of view, operational expenses in point of view, and and the industry specific things also. I'll take you through all these integration part. So we will see all the integration of all other modules, the controlling modules here. And also we have, for example, to project, when you, for example, you are working on one particular project for my industry, so you will not see some of the all the things there. Basically you will see only few scenarios there. So when you go to the engineering industry, again you will see the few more scenarios there. When you go to the process industry, again you will see the different scenarios there. So project to project, the implementation to implementation, the scenarios will be different from the costing perspective. So here those scenarios, the project specific scenarios and the industry specific scenarios, I'm trying to explain with all these things here. You can see the various scenarios here. Basically the GR based overhead calculation. Okay, so for example, on the goods receipt basis, so you wanted to calculate the overhead on the on fly kind of thing. So this can be useful in the contractual manufacturing process kind of thing. Okay, so how this will be works, we will discuss in detail on this concept. And the quantity based overhead calculation. For example, I'm manufacturing a bottles. So if I'm manufacturing within 10 bottles, just I wanted to calculate the overhead, the fixed amount. So how can we do that? So we can see the quantity based overhead calculation, that we can make it possible with the quantity based overhead calculation, and also the percentage based overhead calculation. So for example, overall on the consumption of the materials, basically on the material department, I wanted to allocate the fixed percentage. So in that way we can calculate the overhead, the fixed percentage also. Okay, so we will see those things. And also based on the output volume, for example, let's say I'm manufacturing 10 kgs, I wanted to calculate the overhead accordingly. So the same product, if I manufactured 30 kgs, then I wanted to, based on the output volume 30 kgs, I wanted to calculate the different overhead calculation. So in that way we can also differentiate, I mean we can see these kind of scenarios. So practically, so I'm covering these are all the scenarios. So for example, this scenario I used in my one of my project, so which is relevant for communication technology, and this scenario I have used in one of my project, which is relevant for FMCG, and this is one more scenario I used it for my some other project. So like that I am adding all my project specific scenarios here, so we can see. And the intercompany costing and intra-company costing. So how we can do the intercompany costing and intra-company costing, and intercompany billing and intra-company billing. So both the things we will see. And the contractual, we have the various manufacturing processes. Okay, so first of all we will try to understand the process point of view, then we will try to understand from the system perspective. Both the things I will try to explain you. So we have the contractual manufacturing process and the total manufacturing process, and we have the various scenarios. So the total manufacturing process, for example, your manufacturing is you're working for a cigarette manufacturing company. So there we will use the total manufacturing process. So how this will be helpful for the business and how we will manage this total manufacturing process in the system. So I will take you through all those things. And the contractual manufacturing process. For example, communication and media technologies. So for example, when you go to the CMT industries, like let's say you have Microsoft. So they're using these kind of scenarios. Okay, and we have the product passed by process order. The process order have different controls. Basically, have more control compared with the production order. So this we will use for the basically when you go to you will see this from the you can see this from the consumer goods point of view as well as from the pharma industry point of view. So we will use this as a process order as a cost objective. And also we will see the result analysis methods. So we have the different result analysis methods. So we will discuss on the result analysis methods as well. And the inventory valuation. So we have the different kind of inventory valuation methods Okay, we have the moving average or the standard price or other LIFO-FIFO methods, or we have the actual costing. So we have the various inventory valuation methods. We'll talk on the various inventory valuation methods. So whatever, different industries will use a different kind of methods, and based on the business business requirement, this inventory valuation method will be changed. So we will see the maximum possible inventory valuation methods which is available, and which from the process point of view as well as from the system point of view, I will try to take you through all those inventory valuation methods and all. Okay, and the overhead group, overhead decrease. So basically for the overhead calculation point of view, we'll use this overhead group, overhead key, and origin groups, and all these things also we will see. And the direct activity and indirect activity allocation, and the special procurement key, and the material origin, the primary and auxiliary cost component structure, mixed costing and additive costing, unit costing, split valuation. There's so many things are there, but I'm just giving the glance here as a high level. These things need the separate session only, so it's very difficult for you to understand at this point of time to explain on these things. But these project specific scenarios, first of all, once we learn the basic stuff here, then we'll go to the project specific scenarios also. I think this will be more than enough for you to work on any controlling requirement, I can say, because I am covering with all my experiences from all the industries, so multiple projects. I included all these project specific scenarios also. I think you won't see more than this in any other project. I included all my engineering industry experience here. I included my pharma industry experience here. I included my FMCG, the consumer goods things, and I included some other things also. I'm not highlighting here, but all those things, not only the standard SAP things, basically we are covering all the project specific things also. That's what the overall things, and this is from ECC side. So when you go to the S4, so these are all the things I'm covering from the S4. So I'm covering everything as on today, whatever available on S1709. So which is the latest module on some module on S4, latest version on the S4. So those things I'm covering on all these things aspects, which are, however, as on today. So on the controlling things, whatever it is, award, everything I'm covering here. The profitability analysis solution on S4 HANA, and also the new profitability analysis in the Universal Journal, attributed profitability segment derivation and profitability characteristics on the balance sheet items, and cost split scenarios and production order variances split and reconciliation with the financials, and the enhancements added on 1610 and migration path for the ES all these things we will see. So the simplified data model, the mid-ledger perspective, and also the transfer pricing perspective, we have the single ledger and multi-ledger concepts. All these things also we will, on top of it, will go. And finally, we will touch upon the analytics part as well, the strategic analytics or the embedded analytics available with S4. We will see those things, and also the Fiori apps. So relevant for all the controlling submodules. So everything, all the Fiori apps I will take you through. And some of the things are basically whatever available today on the GUI perspective, or replaced by the Fiori apps and S4. And some of the new things also available, basically, which were not available on the ECC side. So they are added some of the analytical apps, and those things all as and today, however it is evolved. Everything I will try to cover.
Then, sorry to interject, but will you also cover the tables?
Sure, tables also.
That's what.
Yeah, that's I'm not highlighting here, but everything we will discuss is only the topics. Backend, everything we will see. The tables, Fiori apps, and everything we will see from the S4 perspective. And also the classic SAP, the ECC side also, whatever the data model available at that point of time, we will try to analyze all the things. I'm not highlighting basically, but we will see everything there. Okay. That's all from my side. So if you have any questions, tomorrow is the actual session. So tomorrow I'm going to start the actual session on the first chapter. We will see the organization and structure and all. And the timings point of view, I will take. Today and tomorrow also the same time. So we will see tomorrow 2 hours, and we will continue this Monday to Friday. That means for you Sunday to Sunday to Sunday to Friday. Sunday to Friday in your timings, in the US timings point of view.
Sure.
So
Yeah,
it will be 7:30 for 7:30 p.m. for me. We will continue at 7:30 p.m. in the weekdays, and weekend we will continue at the 4:30 p.m.
Got it.
Yeah.
So next week, actually, I am sort of available.
Yeah.
At least for now. But if any changes, I'll let you know.
Sure.
But work for Deloitte and things change, right? That's why.
Okay. Oh, okay. So what? Fine, Nandu. So you let me know your available time. So in case you miss one session anyway, so just for Ravi and Majid, basically we are you will be get the in case you miss one session, you will have the recording for each and every session. So whenever you have a time, you can go through that as well. Okay. So I'll provide you this. From the tech training perspective, you will get the recordings for each and every session, and you will get the training material from the controlling perspective. Basically, frankly speaking, I think you don't need any things. Basically, everything we are going to be doing the system. So that recording is more than enough for you. Okay. So just you follow the recording. That's it. I'm not using the majorly PPTs or anything. That's not required. I don't think it's required. Just one Excel and all the things everything we will do in the system only.
Sure.
Okay.
But if you have any PPTs or any Word doc
yes, I have. In case you go for workshops and all, so then I will help you in those things. But instead of using the PPTs, so basically the understanding perspective, system will be more comfortable according to me.
No,
so when
that's
we
clear,
see
but
the
where I was going with that was that if you have any PPTs covering,
I have plenty of PPTs available with me, but why I'm not using those things here during the packed presentations is because that will have some more information and you'll confuse there. But
right.
I'll tell you in the way you understand.
Okay.
So from the process point of view first, then we'll go to the SAP second, and we will go step by step because costing is a little complicated module. So when you go to especially for product costing and all. So when we understanding the right way, it is a simple module only, I can say. So anyway, the PPTs point of view, I have the plenty of my PPTs in my bucket. So whenever you are going for S4HANA project or ECC site, let me know. So I will forward you that. Choose just change the your Dell company logo. That's it. You can use as it is.
Oh.
So for all the topics, need not to worry.
Slightly on a different topic, do you have any PPTs on central finance assessments by chance?
Central finance things is different, but especially this session I made it only for the controlling thing.
No, I know.
Central finance things I will talk to you in the offline.
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay. Because so Majid and Ravi, you have any questions? Please go ahead and ask me. So Nandu is yeah. Ravi and Majid,
okay.
Any further questions?
Yeah. So can you repeat the timings? You said weekends only, right, for this controlling session?
Timings basically initially I thought basically only for that's anyway it's not decided either. So you're not comfortable with the weekdays timings or what?
No, I'm just checking because it said weekend batch. This one.
I think once after tomorrow's session, we will decide only the weekend or we will continue the weekdays. If everybody says okay, then we will continue for the 7 days. If somebody have some problem, then we will either we will do it for the weekdays or weekend.
Okay.
Next Friday, right? Coming Friday.
Yeah.
I might not be able to do it because I have a meeting to attend.
That's fine, Nandu. But are you okay with weekday and weekend, or you are only okay with the weekday or only
I'm
weekend?
okay with Monday to Thursday this coming week, but my schedule keeps changing, right?
One day is okay, Nandu. Basically, one day if you will not attend, nothing will be happening. Basically, we'll have anyway recording session.
Yeah.
So, or we will take one day. I will leave it for the practical session for everyone. So you can, everybody can go for the practical things, and then we can take it up the
Okay.
next day kind of thing.
And then we will have access to both ECC and S4, I
Yes,
believe, as a part of this training,
yes,
right?
both of them will have. So
How,
generally, as of now, so basically we are the long back. I mean, the ECC sessions, as we have more demand on S4 HANA sessions. So I'm doing more on S4. So, but recently, most of the people are asking on the controlling, especially the product costing thing. So that's the reason I'm keeping this batch again, along with the controlling and along with the ECC and S4. So anyway, you will have the access for both the systems, ECC as well as S4.
okay, and one final thing. This is Majid. So I am interested in the central finance thing also. What you just
That's
talked
a
to
separate thing,
yeah,
Majid,
yeah.
basically.
So when you do offline, I want to be a part of that too.
No, central finance things basically. I can say. So Nandu is my. I mean the is my. I mean he attended my all my other sessions on S4.
Uh-huh.
So that's the reason basically. But that if you want to attend the S4 things on finance and all, so that's a different thing basically. This we are I'm keeping only for the controlling specific things here.
Okay.
If you are interested in S4 or finance and central finance and all those things, then you can join other batch, S4 HANA batch.
Okay. Now I have some experience on S4, but nothing on central finance. So if
Okay.
you just have a special class for that, I can pay for it and attend it. That's
Sure
what I
then.
wanted
And
to say.
if I plan, then I'll let you know. So I'll include you also along with the uh, in that batch, Majid. But this is for
Okay.
controlling especially. So this is controlling.
Yeah, got it.
So everything we are going to be covered here on the controlling things. If you're, I mean, anyway, I'll include you in case whenever I take it up those central finance things. Okay, and no problem. I'll, I'll consider you too for the central finance things. And Ravi, which timing is comfortable for you, or are you? But Majid, for you it is okay, right? So weekday and weekend and all. So according to the Indian timings, the 7:30 p.m. every day weekdays we will follow, and 4:30 p.m. On the weekend we will follow. Ravi, are you there on the line? Just unmuted, Ravi. If you want, you can share your. Fine then. So fine. Anyway, Majid and Nandu and the Ravi, just you can decide and you let me know so that whichever the comfortable time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Yeah,
would be, I think.
I'm okay with 7:30 p.m. during weekdays
Okay.
by 10 a.m. Right?
Yeah. And Ashok also joining from tomorrow onwards, and then
Oh,
we will continue. Majid and Ravi, you let me know. So basically, you can check your in case you have any concerns, the timings or something. You let me know. And if you are okay, then we can continue from tomorrow and with the actual sessions. Okay. Tomorrow, anyway, I'll start the topic as the first topic, the chapter 1, whatever as per this plan. We will go ahead.
Sure.
And maybe sometimes I will take up a little more time also. Maybe we have 30 days I'm targeting, but so on some days basically we will stitch on 2 hours and all whenever
How
we have
many
the
days
big
you are
topics and
targeting?
big scenarios. 30 to 35 hours I'm targeting, but sometimes we will
Okay.
take a little more time, and sometimes it depends on the topic. So if the topic is bigger, then we will take 2 hours
Okay.
continuously, kind of thing. Okay.
Right.
Fine then. So let's connect tomorrow. And other things
The thing is,
I'm highlighting.
if you take like weekends, if you take longer sessions, and weekdays, anyway, you're gonna take 2 hour sessions. So
Yeah,
it looks like in a couple of weeks we should be good, right?
yeah,
Okay.
that's fine. So that's comfortable for whatever the comfortable for all. So that I will take up. I don't have any concerns anyways. So on, I
Okay.
mean, the entire week, so we'll take it up. And the timings also, if somebody is get bored, I mean, or say it is over,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, lapping kind of thing. So otherwise, we will continue. So that's not a problem. So okay, yeah, fine then.
And
And other things from Majid and Ravi. So for you, I'm highlighting once again. So you have the recordings, and you will have all these I mean the system support point of view. You will have all the ECC system and both the systems you will have for the practice and these things. And also in case you wanted to put your resume point of view, if you wanted to show up the resume, so basically I'll help you on those things as well. Okay, so fine, that's it. It's all from my end. Nandu, please go ahead. You was asking something. Sorry for the
sure,
interruption. Yeah,
no problem.
you're asking something, Nandu, I think.
No, I'm fine.
Okay, so fine then. So let's connect tomorrow, and I think tomorrow with the other people, there are two, three more people also there. So along with
Okay.
Ashok, maybe we can see the phone number. So fine. So let's connect tomorrow then. See you
Sure.
all.
Yeah.
Have
Thanks,
a nice
Dad.
day. See you then.
You
Yeah.
too.
Bye.